The second jhana. The second jhana is an improvement over the first in that significantly less effort is required to keep the attention on the meditation object, and clarity is increased. The descriptive phrase in the tradition is, with the dropping of applied and sustained thought or effort, depending on the translator, one abides in the second jhana. But it does take some little bit of attention to stay with it, depending on how solidly it is developed and exactly which phase of the second jhana you are in. More on subjhanas in a bit. The second jhana is the phase where jhanic qualities and side benefits begin to show up on their own, and meditation seems much more something that happens than something you must make happen. This significant decrease in the mental processing power required to keep the attention on the object of meditation makes it a lot easier to perceive clearly, such that details of the object that previously may have been unclear tend to appear much more clearly, and the object tends to seem more interesting, rich, nuanced, and complex. In fact, in the second jhana, the center of attention is the clearest of all the jhanas, with the most fine-grained resolution and greatest brightness of mind. You would think it would be the higher jhanas about which this is the case, but strangely, it is not. The later jhanas add elements that the second jhana lacks, such as space, background, and the like, but the second jhana is the star when it comes to centralized, focused clarity and ability to discern subtle details with respect to the meditation object itself. Attention in the second jhana is generally just a bit broader than that of the first, but this phase is still about characteristics in the general area of the center of attention, in contrast with the third and fourth jhanas, which are much broader and more inclusive of the periphery of attention. This description could confuse some people, as bliss and rapture might fill your body diffusely in the second jhana, making some people think this jhana's attentional strengths are wider than they are. However, one paying careful attention will notice that the total volume of that bliss you can notice in any instant is much smaller than in the later jhanas, a fact that also applies to the first jhana, phase-wise, whereas in the first jhana focus is naturally a bit more on the beginnings of objects. The second jhana's natural strength is from just after the beginning to near the end, meaning the middle of each sensation's brief transient occurrence. The increased ease of staying with the object of meditation and the general increase in clarity of the broad middle of each object's occurrence make this stage much more enjoyable than the first jhana and, in terms of rich enjoyment, tends to be the best of the first four. The later jhanas have other redeeming qualities, but, at least in terms of fun and pleasure, the second jhana is generally the best of the standard 8, extended, compound, and unusual jhanas accepted. However, if you are using some very non-somatic object, such as a visualization or mantra, you might not notice the pleasure much or at all, just that something about the meditation feels better, clearer, more stable, easier. Just as with the first jhana and the rest, this can be developed to a huge range of depths.